Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Team Trios. I'm Todd Tandy Anderson, joined by Corey B. Say hi, Corey.
What's up, y'all?
We are entering into round three, and we've got a bit of a doozy for you. Two teams that both made top eight yesterday.
Yep, Crushers.
I don't know if they played in the top eight yesterday, but with these two teams at top eight yesterday fighting it out, we had to put them on camera.
Yeah, gotta love it. And yeah, looks like some nice matchups. Just 6 different decks across the teammates. So good players, good decks. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's start with the two matchups that we're not going to be watching on our main feature this round. In the middle seat, we have Steven Francis on a very interesting mono black, like Nether Goyf, but also Eldrazi hybrid deck.
Yeah, really interesting. I've seen it pop up here and there, just kind of playing every good mono black card. You get Bowmaster, you get some Trespassers. Emperor of Bones kind of playing a fair role, and then just a bunch of hand disruption and removal. Looks pretty solid.
How many inferior deadlands?
4.
Yeah.
4, yes. That is a nice one.
Yes.
But up against a rough matchup, I would say, on the other side.
Ryan Hayes, notable mainstay on the Apex series, playing Amulet Titan, one of the big baddies of the format, has a couple of newer additions from the last few sets. I'm not sure if he's playing those. We'll have to look at the deck list in a few to determine, but I know that some really cool things have been printed in the last couple sets for this archetype.
Yeah, absolutely.
Astral Titan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
that's
that's just a different Primeval Titan.
The other matchup we're not going to be watching, Logan Underwood on Grixis versus Chris and Weiss on Goryo's Vengeance.
Yeah.
That one can really go either way. And then the feature that we will be watching, this one might be over quickly if the Prowess deck has anything to do with it. Ben Unger on Prowess versus 4-color Omnath from Nick D. Michelle. That's the one we're going to be up against.
Yeah, and it's really mono red. It's Corey Steelcutter, Swift Spear, Slick Shot Show Off, Sola, Star
really
Mages.
burning. Bolt Wave and Lava Spike.
Yeah, about as fast as it get. Even 4 Barbarian Ring. So really using the mana base to put in some work here. Up against Nick, who is going to be playing 4-color Omnath. This is a deck that we kind of saw die with the beautiful bird Yorian. As, the value of it just wasn't really the same.
Yeah.
But hey, it's back. Omnath is still a heck of a card. You get to play Renin 6 to Fairy. You got that one of Time Warp, which I love. Start looping that with Renin 6 and chef's kiss.
All right. Well, the players are ready in the feature match area. So without further ado, let's head on down. We're in round number 3. We're going to be watching the two players closest to us on the screen. That's Nick D. Michelle on your right in the glasses, and Ben Unger on the left with Prowess. And we're off to the races. Mono red on the play. Here's Soulscar Mage.
And with that beautiful old school mountain, I would say Patrick Sullivan would be proud. I believe that's his basic of choice.
That's like maybe 4th edition?
I have no idea, but it is a nice, beautiful old land.
Thundering Falls? Oh, tapped land, huh? You might be dead, brother.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of those from Nick. They play a ton of the Surveil land, so you really have the choice to be able to put any of those in. But, there's still Solitudes, there's still Ephemerate, so you have that fantastic combo
I want to point out
going as well.
Ben Unger wearing an Apex Gaming shirt today.
Yeah.
I watched him buy it yesterday.
Nice.
He's not from the area, but it fills me with such joy to see the folks who come in our events buying the merch.
And Nick, a diehard Eagles fan. I saw him wearing that same jersey. Hopefully he washed it in between these last 2 days.
Don't put him on blast like that. What if he's only got the one?
He's a diehard Eagles fan. He's got multiple jerseys. I can feel it.
I believe it. All right, well, here's a Monastery Swift Spear and a big attack coming. Let's see what the other spell is. Maybe a Lightning Bolt. Something to deal some more prowess damage, hopefully.
1 mana, deal 5, probably incoming, as there is a plethora of them from Ben's side. You have either Lightning Bolts, Lava Spike, and Bolt Wave. They're all there, as well as Lava Dart, which, of course, represents a good chunk of damage as well here when you cast it a second time.
All right, so it looks like we are not playing anything during damage. Instead, we're going to play Light Up the Stage for 1 mana post-combat. Thanks to Spectacle. 2 cards off the top, we find Gutshot and Stomping Ground, and we can play those until the end of the next turn. Light Up the Stage, one of my favorite cards when I was playing a lot of Pioneer over the last few years, works really well with both of these Prowess 1-drops, and here seeing them in Modern is quite cool.
Yeah, love it. Love this play by Nick as well. Going to end step and then playing dress down.
Oh, nice play.
To just prevent any kind of prowess triggers. from going on the stack. So really nice stuff there.
Yeah, so dress down normally would fall off the table at the end of the turn, but Nick DiMichele with the nice timing and doing it on his own inset means it's there for that full turn cycle.
Exactly, and you could of course do it during Ben's upkeep or something like that. But if Ben responds by playing some spells, those creatures do still get bigger. So perfect play there from Nick.
Ben consulting with his teammate in the middle there. I believe that was Ryan Hayes, trying to figure out the best sequence for this turn. Here comes Corey Steel Cutter. Now, dress down. Does dress down affect the new token this made?
It would affect the new token, yes. So the token would for sure not have prowess, and I'm pretty sure that it would still have haste, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
I think
Good.
it does have haste.
I
as
would think
well.
it has haste and trample because the Corey Steel Cutter gives that the claws,
Right.
but honestly, I could totally see that going the other way. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what these players are discussing as well.
All right, so we can play the Stomping Ground as well, but we have a response in combat, and Nick DiMichele is going to go for Solitude, pitching Orm's Chant.
And this is no exile or anything. This is just a flash 3/2 blocker.
Wait, that doesn't have any abilities, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it ate it. Oh,
Yep.
no, that's great. That's such a powerful play.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible. So now it goes away, and you have a Solitude ready to attack in and gain some life. See if there's anything Ben can do about it. Doesn't look like. I think we have one land and then a Lava Spike in hand. So excellent play there from Nick.
Yeah, that was really sick. Oh, that's correct. So Soulscar was blocked, not exiled, so that
Yeah.
should be in the graveyard.
Yep, that would be true. Not super relevant, as I don't think there's any kind of graveyard play with Ben's mono red deck, but hey, still, got to maintain the battlefield. I also like Nick getting rid of Orm's Chant because, well, there are great examples of Orm's Chant. This is not the matchup for it.
No, and he has how many in his main deck?
4. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a all-4 type thing, which, makes sense. It's going to be very good against certain combo decks. It's going to be great against Amulet. There's going to be a lot of those kind of corner cases where it's going to be good, but not here, that's for sure.
I played a little bit with like a Gyalmoth Tapo style Azorius control deck with Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, where I would get to play Teferi on 5, untap my 2 lands, and on my opponent's turn, kick Chant with on their upkeep, so they couldn't play spells or attack down my Teferi, and it felt like time.
And the game's over.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Or even, honestly, some of the recent decks that we've even seen at the last couple regional championships is just Isochron Scepter, Chant, bring it back. One of the most annoying combos, that can really exist in Magic. Was played for a bit. Maybe not super long, but...
Well, I have nightmares of Isochron Scepter Orange Chant.
Yeah, it is not fun.
All right.
Not fun at all.
We're going to pass back to Ben Unger after resolving stock up, putting 2 cards in hand. Unger choosing to play Fetch Land instead of Stomping Ground, specifically so he could go get the Surveil land, I would imagine. Here is Commercial District, and we're going to Surveil 1. Now, I do want to say that I figured out something that we've already talked about where the graveyard does matter. Barbarian Ring.
Yeah,
You need
that's fair.
7 cards in the graveyard for it to come on, so that Soulscar Mage might be really important.
That is a good point.
be in
Good
the
old
graveyard.
threshold. A keyword that we really don't see too often in today's modern Magic, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was Odyssey, which was just on the outskirts of Modern when it was decided which sets would be in.
Yep. And then reprinted in one of the Modern Horizon sets.
Oh, I got fond memories of Werebear, though.
Oh, yeah.
Surveil on top. This is a tough decision for Unger.
I feel like it's got to be a removal spell to interact with Solitude. Otherwise, it's just negating one of your lightning bolts every single turn, and it's not. It's Corey Steelcutter, which totally reasonable as you can get a blocker going and try to block Solitude that way. Yeah, tough to put Corey Steelcutter away.
All right, we do get 2 more tokens. They both will be granted haste. We have 2 Prowess triggers on the original 2 creatures. 3 damage from the Lava Spike sends DiMichele down to 11. It's going to be an attack for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Unger is going to be 1 short. DiMichele does have another Solitude, though, so we're going to do that and save a little bit of life, probably eating one of the 3 power creatures, and that's going to leave us at 4.
Yep, leave you at 4. You get to attack back up to 7. All that being said, Ben is a lava dart away from kind of ending this game. Lava dart, light up the stage, something where you can double spell with one spell is going to be exactly what Ben's going to be knocking the top of the deck for.
All right, players confirming life totals, making sure they got everything right. And 7 damage coming across. Michelle down to 4. We're going to send it back. Omnath. Where are you?
Yeah, this is, as strange as it is, Omnath perfectly fine on turn 4, but it is really that turn 5 card. When you can play it, play a fetch land, not even get the mana advantage in a matchup like this, just use that fetch land to gain 7 is usually lights out for a deck like Mono Red. But that being said, this usually is a pretty tough matchup for Omnath. You have a lot of cards in your deck that say gain life or lifelink, but it just kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't play out that well. These Omnath decks are a lot better at beating mid-range decks, so I bet Nick wants to be eating up Boros energy all day, where this deck might be just a little too fast for it, but of course we'll see. Nick's doing a great job so far.
All right, looks like we are thinking about this attack with the Solitude versus leaving it back on defense. Eternal Witness going to come into play. Has the option of stock up, Solitude, dress down, and a pair of fetch lands, I believe.
You would think if Nick has another white card, we would probably slam the Solitude, but maybe if that's not the case, or Nick is feeling decently safe, go for a land, maybe have Omnath for next turn. Ewit feels like it's almost always getting back Solitude in a deck like this, but
yeah,
everything's contextual.
I do think you're right, though. So there's two things that it could be if he's getting back to land, right? It's either Time Warp or it's Omnath plus fetch land next turn.
Yeah. And the much more likely scenario is Omnath here, but looks like we're going to be able to attack. And then I think it's going to come down to, okay, not even attacking. I think it's going to come down to, does Ben get something that is 2 spells?
Well, it didn't look like he has 2 spells in him, but one of those is a Barbarian Ring.
With 6 cards in the yard.
Yeah.
So if we play that Swift Spear attack, yeah, that would still net Nick a life. So not a great attack. You could just attack with the 2 Corey Steelcutter monks. But
if you play Swift Spear, can you attack with all 4 creatures? What happens then? So
+1 life to Nick.
So the Corey Steels have trample.
Oh, actually, it's net even because one would trample over with the wit. So.
Okay.
But the way that this stands, then Nick would gain 2 life here as 1 tramples over.
Okay. So we go up to 7, and then we take 1 trample down to 6. Both the tokens are dead. And it looks like Unger is going to hold that Monastery Swift Spear for a turn to try to draw a spell so he can trigger the Corey Steels next turn.
I like that.
Michelle goes for Galvanic Discharge on this token. Going to gain 2 energy in the process. Now does Unger play this Barbarian Ring or hold it as a surprise? And he holds it.
Yeah.
I don't like that because if you draw a fetch land next turn, it just turns on the Barbarian Ring pre-combat.
Yeah, or light up the stage. You'd rather have mana to be able to then play a land. I think I would totally go for it as well. But looks like you were right. Good old Time Warp. Good old 5 mana cycle, essentially.
You always want to be doing something when you're casting a Time Warp. If you're casting a Time Warp just to cycle it,
yeah,
you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do.
I mean, the thing to be doing with Time Warp on that turn is Omnath, play a fetch land, 5 mana Time Warp, the game is over. But
Here's
not always the case.
Stock up from D. Michelle. We're going to look at the top 5, put 2 in hand. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Dig Through Time is banned in this format, right?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise, I believe. Too strong with fetch lands.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. So we got Dig Through Time at home. Stock up.
Right. There he is. We're gonna put 2 in hand. Still with the ability to play a land for turn. Does he have any way to stop these Corey Steel Cutters from coming online? Does he have disenchants of some kind?
Yeah, let's see, because they are just going to eventually get this done. We got Wrath of the Skies.
Geez.
That is definitely
Fireworks time.
the combination.
We drew Lava Dart.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love the old dart. Now, this looks to be nice because, wow, Lava Dart's perfect here. Gets to turn on Threshold, so you can play the Swift Spear, dart twice, and then Barbarian Ring. This has to be lethal here from Ben, as you're also going to get 2 monks, and you're going to be cooking.
Yeah, and can just use all of his mana perfectly as well. Dart U triggers. Any responses?
Yeah, and that is about to get Threshold. With it being on the stack, this is the one time when Nick could do something.
But no.
But yeah, nothing to be done.
I gotta say, Core Steel Cutter may have changed the landscape of this matchup because it looked like D. Michelle had all of the answers. Multiple Solitudes, another removal spell tossed in there, had an Eternal Witness, you know, and honestly, it looked great, but Core Steel Cutter just made 6 tokens.
Yeah, really needed Omnath, something to get that consistent life gain and to be able to have a big
Wrath
blocker.
of the Skies.
Wrath of the Skies would have been great as well.
Yeah, he has a really neat package in the deck. 3 copies of Wrath of the Skies with 4 Galvanic Discharge, so like a minor energy slant.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when your lightning bolts are pretty much always going at creatures anyways, Galvanic Discharge is just an improvement there, as you can rack up a little bit of extra energy and maybe have a 1-mana deal 5 on a later turn.
All right, well, as these players are reaching for their sideboard for some help, I'm going to reach over to Corey for some help. How does Nick D. Michelle in this 4-color Omnath sideboard against this hyper-aggressive Prowess strategy from Unger?
Not a ton in this board. There's one Celestial Purge that looks great at dealing with Corey Steelcutter, as well as the plethora of other red creatures. Deafening Silence looks pretty good. If you can just automatically shut off Corey Steelcutter, that's going to be solid. It's not like the most amazing card, though, because if your opponent already has 2 creatures and they just lightning bolt you once each turn, you're still going to get there eventually.
Yeah, is Deafening Silence the one that says non-creature too? So like you can maybe even still trigger the Corey Steel?
Yeah, exactly. Non-creature. So yeah, maybe that's not even worth it at all, as you can just go Swift Spear into Bolt. But
I do think that type of card is generally good against Prowess and Corey Steel strategies.
Yeah.
But this one maybe is not quite.
Yeah, maybe not. And then the rest of the sideboard looks pretty weak. But Seiju, you can definitely bring in that, maybe even cut a land to have more answers to Corey Steelcutter. That Purge. 3 Consign, you're not bringing in. 2 Ghost Vacuum, absolutely not. 2 Disputes, no. 2 Wear Tear, if you're in the market for the 2-mana Shatter, you can do that. And then White Orchid Phantom looks pretty bad as well. So, yeah, I think Nick's in a bit of a bad matchup, if I had to guess.
Yeah, let's just try to draw the old Wrath of the Skies.
Oh, there we go.
On the other side of the table, Ben Unger up a game with Prowess. How is he looking to close the door?
Yeah, I would say the only cards that we really bring in here, I would think, is Unholy Heat, having an answer to both the Solitudes and Omnath. Looks pretty solid. And then we have Soul Guide Lanterns, Pick Your Poison, Abrades, Tormod's Crypts. None of those look great, so minor exchanges here with these Unholy Heats. But same game plan here from Ben.
All right, as these players are shuffling and finishing sideboarding for game number 2, I'd like to take this time to thank the sponsors for Apex Con and this weekend's festivities. We're sponsored by SpiceRack.gg. SpiceRack is a great piece of tournament software you can use to find tournaments near you or run tournaments yourself. If you are a store or a tournament organizer, make sure to check out SpiceRack.gg today. We're sponsored by Ultimate Guard, the industry leader when it comes to TCG supplies, from the Katana sleeves to the Archive deck box. Make sure to check your local game store for Ultimate Guard products today. We're also sponsored by Moxfield.com. Moxfield is a great place to build and share deck lists with your friends. All of our deck lists from the Apex series will be posted on Moxfield within the week, and that includes yesterday's Team 5K trio with post-rotation.
Yeah, great event, too. If y'all didn't get to catch that, make sure to go back and see some new Standard in action. Looks like a lot of fun with those 5 sets getting out of there and some new stuff thrown in.
All right, players are underway for game number 2, so let's head on down. D. Michelle leads with Misty Rainforest. No one draw from either player. Unger with just a Wooded Foothills. Both players probably going to be going for that early Surveil to kind of fix their draw, yeah?
Yeah, looks like it. Ben did have a 1-drop and neglected to play it there, valuing the Surveil a little bit more. Ben's hand is also pretty land heavy, aka I believe there's 1 in play and 4 in hands. That's a little more than you ever want with these Prowess decks.
All right, keeps a Surveil in on top, plays it immediately. Gonna Surveil again. I'm going to put Solitude into the graveyard and go back to Ben Unger. Now, what does that mean to you, Solitude in the graveyard?
Could be a plethora of things. You need land. Maybe you don't have an extra white card. I wouldn't put too much thought into it this early in the game. But it is just one of the better cards. But that being said, if you have to Solitude a 1-drop and 2-for-1 yourself, that is not the exchanges you want to be making over and over in a matchup like this.
Commercial District defined for Unger on the end step. I'm going to put a Soulscar Mage into the grave. Turn number 2. Picked up a Light Up the Stage. That could be a really nice one for later on.
Nothing like gut shot into light up the stage here.
I said later on, but I meant right now.
A one of gut shot as well. I love it. This was definitely the turn where Ben wanted to be steel cutting, though. That's for sure.
I believe that's a new Lava Dart and a Slick Shot
spike. Lava
that's
spike
a lava
would
spike?
be my
Okay.
guess. But
Well, I wonder if he waits until next turn to cast it or just zaps him now. Gonna go for a zap now.
yeah, the next turn has Slick Shot.
Can you plot from Light Up the Stage?
Oh,
That's
that is a very good question. I would assume not. Exile the top 2 until end of your turn. You may play those cards. So
plot says you may pay 1 red and exile this card
from your hand.
hand.
Yep,
Okay,
absolutely
okay.
not. So no matter what, Nick has that information that if it was, up to him, would be leaving up interaction for this Slick Shot, but just tapping out for stock up. Now Nick, I feel like kind of needs a Solitude here to be able to interact with that. Otherwise, I mean, this Slick Shot almost assuredly dealing 5 damage and could be much more.
All right, Unger gonna cast Slick Shot. Bobble trigger. That's 3.
Now let's see if we got something like a dart where you could, really, really get it going. But it doesn't look like it. Looks like we have 3 lands, Lightning Bolt, and Light Up the Stage. But even a Lightning Bolt here looks decent. But wow, Ben. Okay, I was gonna say.
No, this is a post-combat Light Up the Stage. I think. So he's playing this like he wants to make sure he casts the light up the stages for 1 mana, so he can have all of his mana available on the next turn.
Very fair.
You are losing damage though. So.
Yeah, you're losing out on 5. You'd be putting Nick down to 5 here, as you just have to assume that Slick Shot Show Off is not going to be on your battlefield to start your next turn. But of course, if you can hit Corey Steelcutter, this move looks great.
Oh,
baby!
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. D. Michelle, back your way. What you got?
And there was a Lava Dart, too. So if this Slick Shot Show-Off lives, this game is over for sure.
All right, here's a Galvanic Discharge. It's going to deal 2 damage to the Slick Shot, leave D. Michelle with 1 energy left over.
Ooh, oh my God. Orum's Chant, when you have Light Up the Stage going, is dirty. That just countered Corey Steelcutter. That's as good as that Orum's Chant can really be in this matchup.
Yeah.
And this was a huge Punisher case for Ben by not just Lightning Bolting there.
Yeah, and here is the bad news. Omnath, Locus of Creation. Let's get this one on screen because Omnath is going to bury Unger in both card advantage and life advantage.
Ooh, yeah, I don't like this. With the draw trigger on the stack, you have to kill this. You have to bolt. You have to Lava Dart. Otherwise, that life is just getting gained back. So you either have a dead Omnath or you kill it after the life gets, there's just no point to letting Nick play a land there.
And I think his teammate called him on it real quick.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kill it before
that was please catch this very quickly before he's allowed to put a land into play.
Okay, and Steven says the land played for Michelle untapped. Going to take 2 damage down to 8, holding up probably a piece of 1 mana removal would be my guess.
Yeah, makes sense. But if Ben doesn't end up playing a creature, taking 2 damage for no reason there could be a little brutal. But
no, I agree. It's a tough decision, but
Definitely.
Michelle made it with no hesitation.
Yep. Oh, another land off the top. So it looks like we have Bolt plus the Dart from the yard, but that is about it.
Michelle going to play a Teferi Time Raveler. This is going to make it so Unger can't interact on D. Michelle's turn. Going to take it up to 5. Now we can play sorceries at instant speed. And Unger going to go ahead and fetch on the end step. Is there a second commercial district in the list?
Nope, just the one. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, with so many cheap cards, it's very difficult to play the second one.
Exactly, especially when you are just a mono red deck too. There's a couple green cards in the sideboard, but for the most part, you only need mountains. But Surveil lands are just so powerful with fetch lands. It's impossible to not want to play at least one.
Here is Monastery Swift Spear, and that plus Lightning Bolt plus Lava Dart. Is that lethal?
No, that is like 7. Yep. So not quite. And you gotta feel like when your opponent shocked in a steam vent, Galvanic Discharge pretty much face up.
Now, this is a spot where I think a lot of people would consider trying to take down the Teferi with the Lightning Bolt and the attack. What is your idea or like your ideology here? Like if you're an aggro deck, do you ever try to go after this Teferi?
Not really. I think you need to just save your damage for the dome. And I actually really like Ben's play there of just play the Swift Spear. Ben figured out that Galvanic Discharge was 100% in hand as well, based on the way Nick played. That I like not even trying to get aggressive, play your spells, save them for a potential Corey Steelcutter or something like that.
All right, we're going to Surveil land and immediately leave it on top, followed by Renin 6. Going to get a land back from the graveyard if there is one. I can't see a fetch land right off the rip.
It doesn't look like it. Okay, looks like there was
Had one early with the Thundering Falls, I suppose.
And that's the thing. You really don't care about Ren. You really don't care about Teferi as the burn player. You just let those happen.
Found another Lava Dart, so if he finds another Monastery Swift Spear or Corey Steelcutter, he can threaten lethal.
Yep, Nick got an effective 2 now with all these removal spells, and Ben's still choosing to not play the lands there. I don't think there's really too much bluff equity that you have here. Nick's just gonna do his thing anyways. And we're in the territory where it's Omnath and the game is over, and that looks like 4 mana.
Yeah, and we can interact, even though we have a way to kill the Omnath before we play a land.
Exactly. So this should be this game going to Nick here, and it really all came down to that Orm's Chant turn where Corey Steelcutter got stuck under the light up the stage. I think this game looks so different if Corey Steelcutter was around. Now, granted, I do see a Wear Tear in hand for Nick, so, maybe had that covered as well. So this was the game, of course, Nick had to win, being down a game.
Well, here's Swift Spear.
Yeah, it's way too late now. When that fetch land gains you 7 life when you play it correctly, too hard to imagine that you can still push through lethal here.
So we're gonna fetch, gaining 4 more life. Does D. Michelle, or 3 more life because you fetch -1 and then you +4. We're gonna find Hedge Maze, and Unger's just gonna pack it in. He said, "You know what? 1 fetch land countering my Lightning Bolt. That's enough for me."
Well, countering Lightning Bolt, countering Gut Shot, and a second Lightning Bolt, as each one would have been 7 life every single turn. Pretty good.
Yeah, with the Renin 6, it was guaranteed as well. So, all right. Well, game 2 goes to Nick D. Michelle on that Omnath strategy. So it's now 1-1. Players do have an option to re-sideboard, but it looks like neither player is going to take that option, and we're going to be moving into game 3 in just a minute. How you doing so far today, Corey?
Yeah, doing great. Gotta love me some Modern. It's my favorite format. I haven't really seen too many Edge of Eternity cards, but we kind of expected that. It's gonna make
huge format.
It's gonna make a much bigger impact in Standard. But love seeing the different decks here in Modern. Each Modern tournament I look at these days, since they took away my beautiful Underworld Breach, and correctly so. I'll finally, the wound isn't wide open enough where I can't look back and realize that was probably the correct play. But ever since that ban, the format just looks great. The top of the metagame is always like 12, 15%. It's almost always Boros as the most played deck, but that's totally fine. Modern's looking really good right now.
I agree. We have a lot of players in the room today. We have over 40 teams and over 120 people playing in the event.
Great turnout.
This is our best tournament of the year so far as turnout, and we appreciate all the people at home watching as well as the people in the building playing. And we hope we can keep entertaining you for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it makes me want to go game. I'm not gonna lie. I wanna shuffle up a modern deck or get in an Edge Eternity pre-release or play some side events.
We have
Apex got a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah, this is pre-release weekend, so most of our players not in the main were playing Edge of Eternity's pre-release, but we always have extra tournaments for you to check out when you're not playing in the main events here, from Chaos Sealed to Two-Headed Giant. We got a whole lot of stuff available every time we do Apex.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Good stuff around here. They got comfy couches. I was just sitting on those couches.
Oh, we saw you in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I was playing a little Final Fantasy VI. You know, having a blast.
All right. Well, players are drawing their openers. Looks like we are good to go. Unger going to be on the play.
This is a game that's got to be heavily favored towards Ben, but that looks like a hand that is all burn spells.
I think I see one Soulscar Mage.
Okay,
next
I mean,
to the Lightning Bolt on the left, but it's hard to tell.
I think that might be a light up the stage. So I
Okay.
think it's Bolt, light up the stage, bobble, 2 lands in hand, which is reasonable. Ooh, greatly punished for not deploying that bobble here so far, but not the absolute worst, as Ben doesn't have a lot to do.
Okay, we're going to play this bobble, and we're going to probably use it with a fetch land to sculpt the top of our deck a little bit. Still no creature from Unger, it doesn't look like.
And man, Deafening Silence, as we were kind of saying, there's going to be applications when it's good. There's going to be some when it's a little bit more medium. This is a hand where it's very good. Just Nick's whole deck is very good at shutting down light up the stage, and that was kind of Ben's whole hand's plan.
Mm-hmm.
So can be a little brutal here if he's unable to find something. But, you know, even like a Corey Steelcutter off the top from Ben, play Corey Steelcutter into Swift Spear, still looks pretty good.
I agree. Unger going to go ahead and fetch on the end step. Finds Mountain down to 18, I believe. Or, no, excuse me. The first commercial district was from hand, and it surveilled that land into the graveyard.
Yep, that's correct. Should be 19.
All
Not
right.
that Ben's life total is very relevant. It'll be, if this game ends where Nick wins, it's probably just Ben conceding to an absurd amount of life gain like we saw in the last game.
Okay, so Swift Spear can come down here with one other spell. Since we talked about Deafening Silence already, it is does not affect creatures, so the Swift Spear doesn't stall it out.
Yeah, probably just get a bobble out there. Try to find some more creatures. That's really the way to beat Deafening Silence. And sure, you can start firing some bolts on Nick's turn.
Yeah, but that prowess, you know, it's really
Yeah,
dampened.
it is definitely dampened, but when you got too many spells here, you just gotta go for it, I would think, but...
Finds Bolt Wave, so as long as Nick DiMichele is unable to gain life, Unger has quite a few burn spells that he can deploy, some on DiMichele's turn and some on his own.
Yeah, he's gonna start firing these off pretty soon, I would imagine. Start counting down Nick's life total in increments of 3. Well, Nick has a probable stock up here. Maybe a Teferi.
Stock Up starts to look a lot better in Modern when you pair it with Solitude, I gotta say that.
Yeah, no kidding. When you can get some free spells with it, always looks very strong.
Top 5, gonna put 2 in hand. Now, is Deafening Silence a one-sided hater card?
It is universal, so it is going to affect Nick as well, but Nick is notoriously casting one big spell a turn,
Yeah.
or Omnath into spell, which Deafening Silence does not interact with, so Silence looks great in Nick's decks for sure, as it barely does anything to him, and at times will cripple the opponent. Play that against a Living End deck or something. That's a brutal one.
Yeah, it used to be quite good against all the Cascade decks.
Yeah.
Those decks kind of fell off the map, I feel like, but a lot of that was Violent Outburst.
Yeah.
Getting banned.
Yep, that is very true.
All right, so we picked 2 cards, and DiMichele sends it back. Unger on the end step, going to go bolt you. Down to 13 is Nick DiMichele.
Yeah, love that.
And a fetch here just to thin the deck. No Surveil land to grab. See if he gets Stomping Ground.
Yeah, probably. Just tap land. No real Punisher for it, but yeah, thinning the deck, name of the game here.
get a good look at D. Michelle's hand? Do you see a Solitude hanging out over there?
Haven't seen too much from his hand. Kept it pretty close, but yeah, that fan out there looked like double Solitude at my quick glance, which looks excellent here.
All right, well, here's Bolt Wave. D. Michelle down to 10.
And I would imagine if one of those is Solitude, you probably got to fire it off right now.
I agree. There it is. Gonna save some life points here. Taking out the Haster.
Like getting rid of Wrath of the Skies. That card can be good against Corey Steelcutter draw, but when it destroys your own Deafening Silence with no creatures on the other side, definitely want to get that out of there.
All right, here's a Wrenn and 6. Gonna get back a fetch. Or excuse me, gets back a Boseiju. So now we have answers for Corey Steele for days.
Yep.
Instep Bolt, D. Michelle down to 7. Life total getting precariously low.
Start counting down. Ben's got a little bit more gas in the tank as well, but really would like something like a Slick Shot Show Off to then pair with a Lightning Bolt. But that also could be kind of the worst draw for Ben, as it does look like Nick has another Solitude. So maybe Ben is on the plan where he's like, I just want to keep drawing Lightning Bolts. And he's got a lot of Lightning Bolts in the deck. There are a ton of them.
At least 8, because he has, or at least 12, excuse me. He's got 4 Spike, 4 Bolt Wave, and 4 Lightning Bolt. Right?
Yep, exactly 12. And that really is it. But
here's
you know,
a Swift Spear. That could be some damage that we needed. Here's a Bolt Wave. D. Michelle down to 4.
And I believe that other card.
Down to 2.
Oh, baby. And I believe that other card is, that last card is a Lava Dart. So that is lethal outside of something like the old Locus of Creation here, which would be amazing. But outside of that, I think Ben's going to be able to, you know, just limp across the finish line here with every single bit of value that he has.
Well, let's see if D. Michelle has Omnath into land this turn. That would be a really powerful sequence.
Yeah, it does not look like it.
Nope. And go for another stock up. Desperation.
And there's the Omnath. I see that first card next to his thumb there, but just a little too late. As now, Nick has to find a way to gain some life to beat this, this Lava Dart being played and flashbacked. Or a counterspell of some kind, but I just don't think Nick really has the tools for any of that.
How confident are you of the Lava Dart?
I'm fairly confident.
We'll see.
Mid-confidence.
Ben Unger hasn't really shown us his hand that well.
Yeah, I thought I remember seeing it early on, but of course I could be wrong. That looks like a man that has a Lava Dart in hand, though. He looks ready to go.
Yeah.
It's like, you done with your turn? Okay, dart.
Yeah, got ya. So we see Orm's Chant and Omnath go to hand, so we can upkeep Orm's Chant. So if Ben Unger doesn't have instant lethal burn spell here.
Ooh.
Okay. Swift Spear can attack, though.
Okay, I was wrong. It was not a Lava Dart. That looked like a Slick Shot Show Off. Wow, if that's land and show off, can't play the creature, but can attack for the Swift Spear. So yeah, does not have lethal, and Nick will then be able to Omnath. Wow, this is like the most desperation chant, and it's gonna work.
So Ben has the same question I have, which is, can you plot while you're under Orm's Chant?
Yes, I believe you can.
And
I don't even know if you want to, like.
Right, you kind of want to sandbag it. And,
yeah.
But I'm curious because there used to be like some weird stuff with the Teferi, the 5-drop Temporal Master or whatever, the creature, where if it was in play, it granted flashed all your creatures, so you could suspend Greater Gargadon on your instep.
Amazing.
Even though you weren't supposed to be able to, only suspend it at sorcery speed.
Ah, the old Teferi Greater Gargadon deck, huh?
Yeah. Time Trial Block Constructed, hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
I mean, there were Dark Confidant Greater Gargadon decks,
yes, there were. Hit Run.
Yeah. Everyone was complete psychopaths back then, and they were just putting 9-drops with their Dark Confidants and calling it a day.
So D. Michelle survives at 1 life.
And is about to go gain 7 here. And all of a sudden, Nick hung on just by a thread, and Ben had to brick there, and did.
Okay, let's see if he has it, because this Slick Shot can come down through the Deafening Silence, and then a burn spell off the top is still a lot, but is it enough? 'Cause
Not even close anymore, because now Nick can go up to 8, has the Solitude in hand that he flashed. Goes for it right now. I like it.
Yeah, good old-fashioned char.
Yeah.
Fire Blast. I kind of expected them to reprint Fire Blast into Modern at some point, and they never did.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't seem like the most fun card, but I never played against it a lot. I think our coworker Ross has some experience with that card.
Now, you talk about open wounds. That one never healed.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so we gained some life on Unger's upkeep, and we drew another land. So I can't imagine that Unger's able to survive past this.
Well, Ben, this is when Ben should be starting to look to his left and say,
Need
I
help?
hope y'all are doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I help in any way? Because I lost.
Exactly. And I would think, we have Ryan to the left playing Amulet against that mono black deck. Of course, looks like they're still playing, so still gaming. But I would think that that's a matchup that would heavily favor Amulet.
Okay, so Renin 6 going to keep ticking up. Going to keep gaining life off of these fetch lands. We can trigger once on our turn and once on our opponent's turn over and over again.
Yeah, we have entered a garbage time here, that's for sure.
All right. Do you want to call it, and then we can watch another match?
I mean, this one is over. There
All
are
right.
some scenarios where you can get out of it, but Prowess does not have the ability to do
I
that.
don't think so
This
either.
will be Nick taking this down for sure.
Yeah, and it's going to take probably 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, yeah. Or this draw step.
Oh, apparently this might be for the match. So,
Ooh,
so if this is it, then let's just stick to it.
Okay. Well, that is all scooped up, and looks like their team takes it down.
Yeah, that was honestly, I thought that the Prowess deck was going to steamroll this Omnath strategy, but as
Yeah.
Omnath always goes, if you don't kill them that quickly,
Yeah.
the Omnath will bury you in that life.
And I mean, I think it was the case where, Ben could have had any spell, or with his configuration, could have also had 4 of his lands, Barbarian Rings, to be able to win there at the end. Just didn't. And, that's
Yeah.
kind of the case. When you beat Burn, it's never like, wow, I beat. I had 16 life. This matchup was easy. No,
Yeah.
you're
I was
always
at 1.
Yeah, you're always one lightning bolt away, and you either win it or you don't. And that's how it goes when you play against a lot of lightning bolts and lava darts.
All right, so to recap, the team of Nick DiMichele, Stephen Francis, and Logan Underwood defeat the team of Ben Unger, Ryan Hayes, and Kristen Weiss.
Yeah.
They're going to be moving to 3-0. We are 6 rounds of Swiss. This is going to be the halfway point for the Swiss today. We're going to be doing all 9 rounds today, the 6 Swiss and the 3 top 8. I'm going to step out after this round. Ross is going to be in the booth with my man Corey here. We're going to get you suited up for round number 4. We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll have more magic for you, so don't go anywhere.